Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Providence Place Cinemas 16 and IMAX Theater. I'm Brian Sawyer, Director of Special Events at the Gloria Gemma Breast Cancer Resource Foundation. Through 10 years of service, the Gloria Gemma Breast Cancer Resource Foundation has opened its doors and hearts to tens of thousands of people. That would not have been possible without people like you. Tonight, as we prepare for the 9th annual Flames of Hope, a Celebration of Life, we pause to thank you. This evening, we will poke fun, we will reflect, but most of all, we will thank all the people that have made this possible. Please enjoy the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 9th annual Flames of Hope, a Celebration of Life. Tonight you will be celebrating hope, celebrating life, and celebrating 10 years of service within the state of Rhode Island. This event is where people from all walks of life come together for a common purpose. It is a place for people to celebrate and for people to remember. There is plenty of excitement in store, so sit back, relax, and enjoy this evening's presentation that gives you a glimpse into the 9th annual Flames of Hope, a Celebration of Life. An event where people will experience faith, hope, strength, courage, and determination. This is our countdown to Flames of Hope.
oh. He said, oh. Daylight come and they want to go home. He said, oh. Hello, everyone. Guess who's back? It's Natasha. Hello. Today, I was walking into my shop and I tripped and fell and hit my head. Now I have great pain in my head. A terrible headache. Now I don't have to fake headache with Borstalling tonight. But the most terrible thing is that I can no longer see into the future. I can only see into the past. What will become of Natasha? And I see these pink people. They were not running. They were hugging each other, embracing each other, loving each other, carrying flames. Oh, it looked very beautiful. Then I saw a storefront with humble beginnings, a cotton candy beginnings, with a group of dedicated people, a family who were dedicated to the legacy of a mother with 9 children. 9 children she raised to a big heart. And this is the story of those pink people in their own words. Their own words. Their own words. Oh.
My mother was, she was, I'm going to say fair but firm. She used to run everything with an iron fist because there was 9 of us and it was tough.
My mom was, a wonderful woman. My mom was she was a very strict mother, but she was a very caring and loving mother.
She had a very special bond with each and every one of us, and it was a very individual bond with each one of her children.
I know my mom thought of me and making sure that we took care of the family and that everybody was, I'm going to say financially and materialistically taken care of.
There's a separation of 17 years between myself and my youngest brother, Anthony. I'm the oldest, and so as a result, I spent the most time with her.
My mom worried about everyone else but herself. She worried about, her kids, her grandkids.
She was always the life of the party. We had such a close relationship.
We're a family that's very close, and my mother really was a person that embraced everyone.
She was extremely honest in that she could tell you something in a way where she wouldn't offend you, but she'd tell it like it was.
I spent a lot of time with her through the years, and she really was a great mother figure to me as well.
You'd sit down at dinner and you might not even know, one of my siblings' friends were there, and the neighborhood kids would always be there.
And in the summer, you never knew who was there because everyone was welcome. It was probably the most difficult time in my life personally. I remember hearing the words, and it was like being sucker punched. I don't think I can explain it any better than that.
Talk about having something, the wind being taken out of your sail. That was incredible because my mother was such a strong, dynamic, vibrant person.
Do you know what? Breast cancer was so far off my radar, and it's kind of ironic because at the time I was working in Boston as a physician assistant, and I was working with a surgeon who did primarily, a general surgeon who did primarily breast cancer.
It was, we're going to get through this, we're going to fight, we're going to get through this. Because my mom is, she's a fighter, and never expected it to take her life.
Never in my wildest dreams thought that breast cancer would take her. I thought that she was going to be with me forever.
It was shocking to us, but you never think you're going to lose your mom. You think, oh, we're going to beat this thing.
Kind of waiting for the next news from the doctor to see and hope that everything was okay.
We didn't know. The future was so unknown, and we didn't understand, and we didn't know what was going to happen, and it was very scary.
So I think, initially it's shock, disbelief, not wanting to accept that as a diagnosis. And unfortunately, it was, stage 4.
My mother was sick for a short period of time prior to that. But I recall, and my brothers and sisters, I think, would say the same thing, that the last thing in the world that we had on our mind was cancer.
Fast forward, my sister Susan, who's a physician's assistant, took over all of the medical decisions that happened after that. So it was just kind of learning very quickly what the terminology was and what the treatment plan was and how many decisions had to be made. And it was difficult, but it would have been much more difficult without someone to help us navigate that system.
My sister Susan is in the medical field, and we have several medical people in the family. My husband's a physician, her husband's a physician, so we quickly navigated through some of the medical information pretty quickly.
I knew from the get-go that her prognosis was very poor. They had basically given her only 1 year to live.
She started going through the chemo. She was losing her hair. She was still always happy. She, when we went to the treatments with her, she was always smiling. She was always positive.
I remember also taking her for treatments up in Boston with my sister Maria, and they were fun times because my mother was almost like truth serum with her.
She always said what was on her mind. She really held nothing back ever. That's what made it so funny.
The cancer had already spread, and it was in her lungs, so it became treating her with chemo and shrinking the tumors in her lungs, and then that worked, and she was able to breathe without oxygen, but then it spread to other areas, and the treatment constantly changed until the last visit, and that was, I'm sorry, we can't help you anymore, and that became extremely painful. She never talked about it, and I think that was probably the hardest thing for us because we never really knew where she was in accepting it.
We used to still have a lot of fun. We used to actually do karaoke, and it was a lot of fun, and she laughed right until the end.
I think for the sake of us and people around her, I think she kept her feelings pretty much to herself.
It was a very difficult time to watch someone suffer like that, even though she never said she was suffering.
She knew what was going on, but she didn't want her kids and the people around her to feel it. My sisters were very real. They dealt with it very real. They knew how serious it was. I think the brothers knew how serious it was too, but we were maybe in a little more denial at the time.
I mean, it was difficult. Every family member took it differently. Some were in a state of denial. Some stepped up to the plate, like, certainly more so than others in different ways, but we all stepped and we all stayed together. We all stayed hardcore and tried to help one another through it, because that's what my mother certainly always wanted, for us to be together.
I think after a period of time, once we realized that this was going to take her life, the feelings were beyond explanation. It was shock. It was so surreal. We couldn't. It was really, really hard to connect to those feelings.
And we always had fun. We always laughed. We did it as a group from the family, and till the end when we really spent a lot of time just on her personal care, and and then her death, became another way for the family to kind of come together and support each other and support our dad, who was really having a hard time with it.
I mean, probably the biggest thing she used to say all the time was everything happens for a reason. And I will never forget, as long as I live, there was, when she was diagnosed and toward the end of her life, the 9 of us were there 24 hours a day. So one of us was always there. And I was there, it was like the Wednesday prior to her passing. And she said that to me. It was in the middle of the night. She was in a lot of pain. And there's really nothing you can do for the pain. And she said, everything happens for a reason. I said, Ma, I don't believe that. I don't think that, I don't know why God would do this to you. What is the reason for this? And she said to me, and I'll never forget it, it's because one of her last words, because she wasn't, she kind of faded out after that. And then, she died several days later. But she said, someday, my son, you will know the reason.
At the end of my mom's life, the last month of her life, she was up all night long, and I remember her saying to me that, she didn't want to go to sleep because she was going to be sleeping for long enough, and her mobility was obviously a lot more impaired, and, all of us, all 9 of us, worked in teams of 2 to take care of her. So I think that we were all there for her, like she was there for us as much as we could, and I think that all of us, grieve to this day over her passing.
Of all the siblings, I hadn't had a child yet, so my son, she wanted me to have a child, and my wife at the time got pregnant 6 months prior to her death. So in the same year that my mother died, my son was born, but I wasn't able to really share that with her. It's one of the last things that I was able to share is that, here's a sonogram, you're going to have a grandson from me, and so I left that with her. That sonogram, the most emotional thing for me was probably closing the casket and leaving that in her hands. So that's what I remember.
Hello, goodbye. Say hello and wave goodbye.
I can't say that there's a day that goes by that I don't think of her, and now it's even, more prevalent because you see so many Gloria Gemma signs and things along the way.
So we got a group together and thought it would be really good in my mom's memory to walk.
We began kind of walking in other, in many different cancer in many different walks.
Well, initially it started, the first time I remember hearing of this was that we all gathered together to do a walk in my mother's memory.
Certainly our mother was one that, and our dad, encouraged us to work together, help each other, and certainly pay it forward, give back.
Anthony was brilliant when it came to getting her message out.
And Anthony took all of that and started the foundation. And it was his idea. It was certainly all of his legwork and his passion that started everything. No one would have had that same drive.
At the time, I had an employee that worked with me. That was, my assistant, Becky Gamage, and she actually had prior experience with creating a foundation. I had the idea to let's do this in my mom's honor, and that between her, myself, and my family, we put the idea together.
Because one of the major organizations had pulled out of Rhode Island, and Rhode Island women are even, have even a higher likelihood of developing breast cancer than the general population across the country.
But thinking it through, even when it comes up to water fire, it was how can we make a difference? How can we raise awareness? And it's not easy to raise awareness at a small level. So it was always a vision of mine to have the foundation be something larger.
Well, going backwards, the first thing he did was he did a walk in Scituate. And it was in October, and there were about 300 people, and we were in awe of the fact that 300 people would come out for this small little newly birthed foundation and support our mom, and it was a beautiful thing, and I remember talking to him on the phone on the way home from the walk and congratulating him and telling him I thought he did a great job, and he said, I don't want it there anymore. I really have a vision to bring it into Providence. So my first instinct with him was, you're crazy.
There were many people that said it couldn't be done, and that means it had to be done even more. So that's when we pushed real hard. When people often challenge you that say things can't be done, that's when you really know that by pushing, you can get things done.
So when I first heard about the Gloria Gemma Foundation, I was working at Waterfire, and Gary Calvino had walked into a production meeting and jokingly said, "You guys are going to kill me at this point."
Originally, when Anthony and I put the Flames of Hope together, obviously it was, he was interested in the large crowd, because awareness is one of the major parts of our mission, or his mission at the time. I was with Waterfire. So 20 to 50,000 people every other week, so the large crowd. This Columbus Day weekend, big crowd. So awareness was that big factor that came into this.
It was a year that we had done 10 events in a row, I think, and Gary said, I just spoke with Anthony Gemma, and he has a foundation called the Gloria Gemma Breast Cancer Resource Foundation, named after his mother, and Anthony wants to do a very large pink event in downtown Providence.
The only challenge that we had is Barnaby is really, a lot into, he's an artist, so he's very much into the art. He's into, black. I mean, I had 75 black shirts, in my wardrobe. That's all I wore.
When you volunteer, you wear black. It mixes in with the installation. Everything is built around the bonfires on the river itself.
Pink, all right? Pink and black. They didn't go. I thought I was going to get fired because, the next thing you know, Anthony has pink everything all over the place. Barnaby's going crazy. He's taking the signs down. He's doing, that was the original part of Waterfire. And, it wasn't a beautiful marriage in the beginning. I mean, it's great now, but in the beginning it was really tough. Pink and black. Wow.
I was familiar with the pink ribbon, but was not anything that was really in my world as it is now, because right now we're surrounded by pink. We wear pink every day.
I have a way to kind of persuade people, and I was so excited about it, and I was so passionate about it, that once people started to, believe and realize that this can be done. And I think even at that point, even Barnaby and the Waterfire Board, to their credit, they had to have the vision.
And the rest is history. It became quite surreal. We weren't really, as a family, we weren't really all told about what was happening that first year at Flames of Hope with Waterfire.
At the first Waterfire, it was just absolutely incredible. I remember my wife and I and a bunch of our friends actually selling cupcakes right near the RISD Museum.
It was overwhelming. We all were totally, I don't even know if I can put into words what that first experience felt like.
Outstanding. It was extraordinary. It was extremely, extremely emotional. It was so much bigger than I ever expected it to be. There were so many more people involved. There were so many more, there was so much to it that it didn't feel real.
The next day, when the brothers and sisters talked about it, and you see it on the news, things like that, it was unbelievable. It was really hard to describe.
I would say that once we did it the first time, and I'll never forget the feeling of the first lighting of the torches, and even the siblings, and it was just the most amazing, and all the survivors that were there. It was the most amazing feeling for everybody, and at that point, it really became something more than than just any old ceremony. It was just an incredible, magnetic feeling.
After that, we obviously knew that whatever he set out to do, he would accomplish with the foundation, and everyone really rallied together to say, congratulations, that was a great job. How can we help you?
It kind of went like this: what can we do that would raise awareness where you couldn't escape it?
The original vision came when Anthony Gemma and I were sitting at a breakfast table in Lincoln, and he had called me up on a Thursday night and said, Brian, I have an idea. And I said, okay, Anthony, well, let's meet. This was probably about 14 days before the event. Let's meet and see what we can do.
I was always worried about if we did a water fire and it rained out, what would we do? And Columbus Day weekend was that perfect Saturday, and if there was a total washout, we can move it to a Sunday, and it was that thing.
Anthony all of a sudden said, I had this vision with the ballet doing a performance and the breast cancer survivors standing in a ribbon formation with all the torches in hand. I said, okay, well, have you put much thought to it? And he said, of course I put thought to it. And out comes these 4 cocktail napkins that he must have drawn on the night before.
So it was on a napkin with like the State House in pink.
So there's this ribbon formation, and the breast cancer survivors would get up there and they would walk from the sides of the staircase into the ribbon formation.
And there was 300 of them at the time. We can't do that anymore. But it was in the shape of a breast cancer awareness ribbon on the State House steps, where the State House would light in pink behind That was the backdrop. And that was the original vision for not only the beginning of Water Fire, but the lighting of the State House.
There was about 3 of us, including Gary, including Anthony, that were there that night, and we gave instructions as the torchbearers were walking up the stairs of what they should do, and that's kind of where the whole State House piece was born.
There hasn't been one water fire that hasn't brought tears to my eyes. You know, seeing the people, and it's the emotion of people that have been through it, people, family members that have, you know, have seen survivors, family members that have lost, and friends that have lost individuals, you know, spouses, what have you. It's very, very touching, and the walk down into the basin and in the basin, I mean, it's extremely, extremely emotional. And I'm not a person that, you know, will shed many tears, but it does bring tears to my eyes.
We looked at the thousands of people in the crowd, and we kind of smiled to each other and said, our mother was claustrophobic, and she probably wouldn't have come to that.
We had a bunch of merchandise from the first water fire that was left, and we thought we just can't have it sit there.
My brothers had an open storefront, and my sister Maria kind of, we should kind of, use the storefront and sell this merchandise.
And if we're able to really represent our mother better by really giving the opportunity for people to come in and talk about their experience with cancer or their fear of having cancer, or just have someone to listen, would be a better reflection of her or an additional reflection of her. And the Resource and Wellness Center was born.
You know, I was the first employee of Gloria Gemma. Maria could have been an employee. She was working for the realty office at the time, but was putting in, enough hours to really be full-time. But we had Cotton Candy Boutique. It was a small little store on Mineral Spring Avenue.
I wasn't sure that what I could offer to that. My kids were in school and all of that, but, my sister said, just come and, you don't have, just come and, you're the one with the medical experience, and figure out, and give me some ideas of what you want to do.
I came in as sort of the administrative role and the special events role, kind of what I still do today with being the operations manager and the director of special events.
I lost an aunt to cancer. I think she passed in 05, 06 time, and I hadn't really lost anybody at that time. I mean, great-grandparents, and not really great with death, but that kind of took it to a different place for me. So I had volunteered to be a participant in a multi-day walk, and I had loved that, and I wanted to do that on a local level, and that's when I came to hear about the Flames of Hope that Gloria Gemma put on.
The hard part was, as we grew, the space stayed the same. So one of the funny parts was also when Lynn came in, was if Lynn needed to hand me something, all of a sudden it would go from Lynn to Maria, over Maria's head to me, because we were all, between Lynn, Gary, Maria, and I, sat at two large desks that were all connected.
The women, and maybe men, but primarily women who went there and were greeted by Susan, fell in love with Susan and fell in love with the foundation as a result of who she is and what she did.
I got diagnosed with breast cancer in 2007. And I started my treatment in June of 2007, and I heard it on the radio about Gloria Gemma Breast Cancer Foundation, but they were located at the time on Mineral Spring Avenue in North Providence at a little storefront called Cotton Candy.
People would come in, and there would be a steady stream, and the programming started, and the programming that took place there on 2 or 3 little couches was significant. And and a testament to my sister Susan, and it's just a testament to that place. That place holds a very dear spot in my heart. I know that the current facility is great. It's probably 10 times as big as that little area was, but that little storefront is really where it all started.
So I was determined to find it. because I really needed somebody to talk to. And I used to go swimming every morning. That's how I managed to get through my treatment. And on the way home one day, I happened to see the store, Cotton Candy. And I went in, and right away, I knew I was home. Susan Gemma, at the time, was the one of the sisters. She was the one that was in charge of the store, and she welcomed me with open arms.
When I was diagnosed in 2008 with breast cancer, I was still working at the time, so I had a lot of support from the people that I was working with. And I was always the one helping everyone else, so I didn't think I needed help myself. So I went to a support group at Women and Infants Hospital. And then my daughter and I started talking. She says, "Ma, there's a local support group. Why don't you go and find out what it's about?" And so she took me to the Gloria Gemma that was located on Middle Spring Avenue. And I think the first person I was introduced to was Susan Gemma.
By the end of that, our little stint at Mineral Spring, we sometimes had 8 people working with us, interns and volunteers and 4 staff in the same space.
And then from there on, I have stayed with the foundation going on 9 years now.
I think a lot of the women that we served yearned for those days because they were beautiful. We had the couches in the back of the retail store. It was just like family. Saturday mornings at Gloria Gemma was, it was amazing. People were shopping. People were talking on the couches. We were trying to get some work done, at our desks, which never happened. It was just like, an old Italian kitchen. It's like everybody parties in the kitchen, and that's what that was like for us at Mineral Spring.
I was afraid, but I couldn't tell my family because you don't want them, you're always the strong person. The mother is always the strong person in the family, and to tell your family that you're afraid and you don't know what's going to happen and you have nobody to talk to is very scary. I was all alone. My mother had passed away between my biopsy and my surgery. I couldn't talk to her. And Gloria Gemma, it's not like we sit around and talk about it, but we know what goes on in each other's minds. And if you need to talk to somebody, if you have a question, if you have a worry, there's somebody there to talk to who understands. And that's, to me, the big beauty of this organization.
The foundation is a safe haven and warm embrace for families that are touched by breast cancer. We try to make it their home, a place that they can come and express fears that they're afraid to share with other family members so that they're not worried. And so we try to provide that place. And we also try to embrace them during what is probably one of the most difficult times in their lives.
And it's amazing to see how far the foundation has come, because we started off as 4 people looking at each other in this little tiny back room in Mineral Spring Avenue, North Providence, to now, having my own office and the ability to have my son come in when he's around, and, working with everybody that's really has their own kind of niche in this place now, but we all share responsibility. But to see how it's really grown in just the last 7 years has been incredible. And the fact that we're turning 10 just amazes me.
I'm the type of person, my personality is, and I've always been a giver, a doer, a helper. I never expected to be on the receiving end of that. So when I was going through my own treatment, I had a hard time accepting that from other people. But I came to realize that it's not just you going through this. Other people are hurting. And I had to give in to that and let them help me. That was very hard to do. So what I wanted to do was, in some way, give back to other people who are going through it and maybe had the same struggle I had, and just know that it's okay and you should be able to accept the help, reach out for programs, try to get that distraction.
Happy 10th anniversary, Gloria Gemma Foundation.
Feliz décimo aniversario, Gloria Gemma Foundation.
Happy 10th anniversary, 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 Gloria Gemma Foundation.
ฉลองครบรอบ 10 ปี Gloria Gemma Foundation.
Happy 10th anniversary, Gloria Gemma Foundation.
a beautiful day in this neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? It's a neighborly day in this beauty wood, a neighborly day for a beauty. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? I have always wanted to have a neighbor just like you. I've always wanted to live in a neighborhood with you. So let's make the most of this beautiful day. Since we're together, we might as well say, would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? Won't you please? Won't you please? Please won't you be my neighbor?
Good evening, boys and girls. It is a beautiful day. And you know, I was thinking, maybe we should read a story. Maybe we should read a story. So I went to my book and I picked out one of my favorite stories. 'Twas the night before Flames of Hope. So I'll read that for you today. Let's see. Okay. 'Twas the night before Flames of Hope went out on the street, not a staff member stirring, not even a peep. Calendar pictures were hung on easels with care, knowing the survivors and families soon would be there, with the board members nestled all snug in their beds, with visions of sugar plums dance in their heads. Maria on her iPhone and I in my pink had settled our brains for the last chance to think. When out from the Renaissance there rose such a clatter, I sprang from my bed to see what's the matter. Away in the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutter, threw up the sash. The lights on the State House, unmistakably pink, gave a hint that the weekend had started to sink. When what to my wondering eyes should I see but a main stage, some tents, in the colors starting with P. With the executive director so lively and strong, I knew for a moment it wouldn't go wrong. Out of the woodwork the volunteers came. They whistled, they shouted, they called us by name. Now Maria, now Gary, now Brian, now Lynn. Our staff may be small, but we're destined to win. On Maureen, on Mandy, you know us so well. But don't forget Maya, Betty, and Tell. To the top of the State House, to the side of the mall. Now dash away, dash away, dash away all. As torches are marched through the village with pride, when they meet at the basin, who's got a dry eye? So they circled the basin as they came from above, with their arms firm with torches, their hearts filled with love. And then for a moment, what did I hear? The songs that they're singing, the crowds filled with cheer. As I steadied my body and turning around, the flames were all glowing, the joy was abound. We headed back up from the basin to field, to see what else was unfolding and what it would yield. Pavilions of knowledge and kitchens of food and gardens of color to set up the mood. Education runs rampant and emotions are high, sandcastles of beauty, breathtaking, oh my! As mastery is beginning to show us their skill, survivors preparing to break boards at their will. Ronnie begins with a thrust of his hand, then survivors in black belts, feeling is grand. The boards are all broken, emotions are strong. The night is so beautiful, it doesn't seem long. As we move to Pink Party, thanks ARS and Trattoria, music, food, dancing, and friends put us all in euphoria. The main stage is humming. Joshua Tree sounds so good. To some ears, it's better than you two could. I knew this seemed long and the weekend so packed, but tomorrow is Sunday, and we will be back. Sunday starts early, and we are not tired, for Kids Fun Run begins, and the kids are so wired. Pink Pump Palooza is next, guys and gals in high heels. Oh gosh, it's so funny. Wonder what is their deals. The 5K is up next. You can run or can walk. Teams raise lots of money, certainly walking their talk. When this race is over and everyone's gone, the staff, board, and volunteers are carrying on. We worked hard, we worked long, and not too much applause. We'd do anything for you to further our cause. Thanks a lot, boys and girls. It was a beautiful day.
The theme for the 2015 Celebrate Hope, Celebrate Life calendar is BRCA positive. If you carry the BRCA gene mutation, you inherited a gene that gives you a higher percentage of getting breast and or ovarian cancer compared to the general population.
So we heard a lot about families coming in this year with the BRCA gene, and the calendar idea was born. Let's showcase that. That knowledge is not out there enough, although we're hearing it more and more. And certainly Angelina Jolie made that a lot more popular. Thank you, Angelina. Everyone in the calendar is either, they're all BRCA positive, but some have had cancer and some are previvors. They haven't had cancer, they have the gene, they've chosen to have prophylactic double mastectomies, a couple of them.
So we have women who are diagnosed with breast cancer, and because they were younger, they got tested for the gene, and that's how they found out they were a carrier of the mutation. And then we have other people who they had a very strong family history and of cancer, and then they decided to get tested, but they've never had a diagnosis.
Well, with a predisposition, it's family. So we do have 2 sets of sisters in the calendar that have the gene. Actually, we have a gentleman in the calendar, and his son wasn't available, but his son has the gene. Not quite so easy to bring a whole family into a picture, at least if they're like mine. People think that cancer looks like this old grandmother, and she's very sickly, and it doesn't look like that. That cancer thriver, which is a better word, is your next door neighbor. It's the person who sits next to you at work. You know, it's the person next to you in the gym and the supermarket. They're regular people. They're thriving. They're not surviving. They're thriving, and they want you to know that.
There's an electric charge. I mean, there is. It's almost tangible. The feeling in the air of the excitement.
For the village, being our 10th anniversary, we're trying to make it a big party. So celebrating 10 years of helping the tens of thousands of families in Rhode Island that we've helped over the course of the years.
Raring to go and getting it done, and I know I pick up my radio at 6 o'clock in the morning, I go, okay, 18 hours to go. But it goes by so quickly because there's just so much.
But there's a lot going on with 2 bands. Joshua Tree, which is a band out of Boston, is a great U2 tribute band that'll be there.
The energy, you can feel it. I mean, you can physically feel it. It's that exciting.
So the band in the afternoon is One Wild Night. It's a Bon Jovi tribute. Everybody loved Beatlemania last year as a tribute band, so that's why we decided this year we'll have some fun and go to two specific tributes. And we have a great pink party that is being catered by Trattoria Romana this year. So that's going to be even bigger and better. The torch procession, again, will be starting off at sunset right at the State House. The State Ballet of Rhode Island has choreographed 4 performances this year that will be coupled with survivors telling their story and their journey through breast cancer, how they came to the foundation. So each piece will then reflect one of the songs that the ballet has choreographed. Then the torch procession will begin its march all the way down from the State House steps to Water Place Basin, where we have a small surprise that's going to happen this year. We don't want to give too many of the details out because it's really special, and we hope everybody will take a look at it.
It's a good day. No matter what happened leading up to that point, it's always a good day.
Like K Bad, my baby. The run walk is a fairly new term for us. So we have people call it a gazillion things, but the technical name is Flames of Hope Run Walk Series. But the event itself started in '09 just as the Gloria Gemma 5K. And it morphed from one little race to now 3 solid races.
Well, I think to best reflect my mother, the foundation really is and will always stay with a local focus.
I mean, now we have 3 national companies that just so happen to be the title sponsors of each one of our races. We have the Kids Fun Run presented by Macy's. We have the Pink Pumpalooza presented by Nordstrom, and then we have the Gloria Gemma 5K that's presented by the Walking Company. I mean, the national companies have always supported, I believe, national organizations because it seemed to kind of fit the mold.
What the beautiful thing about what we do is that we're able to embrace the community and support the entire family. And I don't know that you could have intimate relationships with people in that manner outside on a big scale.
What I think is happening now is a lot of these large organizations are realizing that the people that support your local store are the people that live within those communities. And if those people see that you are supporting their local charity, their favorite organization, then they're going to want to support you.
They've become part of a larger family, so they're all part of the Gloria Gemma family, which is such a reflection of my mother because that was the way we were raised.
So I think that turning it around and focusing really on the people that help you to grow in each of your locales, your destinations, is what you really have to focus on. So I do believe that there's a shift in the focus between national and local organizations. And I'm very proud that we're a recipient of that and that it's really turned around.
I'm gonna shout all night. I'm gonna shout at every place.
We hope you have enjoyed our countdown to Flames of Hope. Please join us next week on October 10th through the 12th as we celebrate life and give hope and support to our community at the 9th Annual Flames of Hope, a celebration of life. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Providence Place. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Happy 10th anniversary.
All right, happy 10th anniversary, Gloria Gemma Foundation.
Happy anniversary.
Happy 10th anniversary.
Oh, God, okay. I screwed up already.
Happy 10th anniversary, Gloria Gemma Foundation.
Happy 10th anniversary, Gloria Gemma Foundation. I screwed up again.
We got time.
Did you capture that?
I actually did, yeah.
Did you? Don't put it on Facebook, please.
Happy 10th anniversary, Gloria Gemma Foundation. No, I screwed up again.
Happy 10th anniversary, Gloria Gemma Foundation.
Happy 10th anniversary, Gloria Gemma Foundation. No. Happy 10th... Did you talk over me?
Happy 10th anniversary, Gloria Gemma Foundation.
Good, but don't look at me after.
Oh, what am I doing?
Just smiling at the camera.
But how long am I looking at it?
2 seconds. Just a few.
What am I saying again?
No, Lynn scared me. Lynn scared me.
All right.
It hurts to smile that long.
Okay.
Yeah, she doesn't scare me anymore. I think the other one's true. I think she finds me scary.
We're expecting you.
Oh, God, I just blew it. I blew it.
I mean, you were doing perfect. I don't know. Did you forget? Oh?
I have to do boom shakas again?
Yep. All 20 seconds ago.
Boom shakalaka laka, boom shakalaka laka, boom shakalaka laka, boom. Natasha's back. And now what?
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a wonderful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? Yeah. Tell me the question again. I'm short-term memory is lost. It's really.
Are you upstaging me, Jay? Brian, where did you get these people?
Light my fire. Come on, baby, light my fire.